So right now what we're at is, quite frankly, a technological first. We have this 43 foot in diameter tunnel. We have now completed, we're on like ring 254, and what's happening is we've taken our right degree angle at a 5-degree grade, and now we're heading, we went underneath the MacArthur Causeway, and now we're heading towards the water, underneath the water at Government Cut. This is, we're going to hop onto the tunnel boring machine, but as we hop onto the tunnel boring machine, what we have right here is, as you're going down the tunnel, right here, you're going to see that we take a right-hand turn. What this represents is, right now we're in the median of MacArthur Causeway. So you can see us taking the right-hand turn. What's happening in that right-hand turn is now we've taken the right-hand turn, we've gone underneath the MacArthur Causeway, and we're headed over to Government Cut. This is gantry number 6. So what's happening here with gantry number 6 is this is where the tunnel building itself also takes place. You can see as we're putting all of our conduit up against the wall. Now what is that piping? That piping is, just as we have a conveyor belt bringing the spoils out over onto Watson Island, we are now going to enter Government Cut. And underneath Government Cut, we face a new strata, strata 6 and 7. And strata 6 and 7, the geological formation there is, again, it's hard rock with pockets, huge pockets of slurry, sluice. And because it's so wet, we have a dual mode on our tunnel boring machine. Our dual mode allows us to do two things. One, we deal through the solid rock and earth as we dig our way through and we bring the spoils out. And the second mode that we have is dealing with the wet, dealing with the water. So instead of going out a conveyor belt, we have this piping that we put up against the wall, and that piping then takes all that wet spoils out. Same thing, brings it over into the spoils management area where we de-water that and then recycle the water in a closed loop system. And as we de-water the spoils, we dry it, and again we truck it out to a landfill. So what we have right here is this is all the spoils now coming out. It has the consistency of toothpaste, and as we're digging right now, these are the spoils, okay? So what this represents is 279 truckloads of spoils that we're going to be taking out tonight. What we just did is we just stopped digging the tunnel, and the cutter head is stopped. We're not taking any spoils out, and we're getting ready to put in segments in a new ring right above you. These are the thrust cylinders. So we're going to be putting in a new ring. We're going to be building part of the tunnel, and we're moving forward. This is all done by vacuum suction. Each one of these segments have a vacuum suction on it. This machine puts it in place. As you're going to see right now, we're going to take this segment up. We move the thrust cylinders forward. We're going to put the segment in place, and then we're going to complete that with the other 8 rings. Right now what they're doing is they're measuring and making sure that everything's level and equal in regards to putting the segments in place. These 6,000 ton segments, there's 8 segments in each ring. So that what they're doing right now is we're witnessing television building. As you can see right now, the thrust cylinders are pushing up into the segment. They will put the segment into place. So what that represents is 2 things. It represents the pressure that we need to use to put the segment in place, and 2, it takes the 52,000 tons of thrust to move the tunnel boring machine forward. But everything has to be perfect, because as much as we have the newest and best technology here, the architecture and the engineering that we use goes back to the Roman Empire, and basically the simple design and engineering of an arch. So as much as we bolt these segments together, and you're going to see them bolt the segment together, once we're completed that segment, we take those bolts out. So you see the thrust cylinders now putting everything in place. They just put the bolt in there, and again, they bolt that up as they're building the segment. As soon as the segment is completed and we move on to a new ring, those bolts come out, because just the pressure and the design of the tunnel through an arch will hold those all in place. So that's the vacuum suction now that takes the segment out of place. And now we're going to build another segment.